Hi and welcome back to another podcast with your host Miriam Khan at Raise Your Vibes. Today's topic is about standing back and allowing yourself or close loved ones or friendships or relationships some self-growth and some time for healing and time for reflection and looking back and looking at reflection. You know, all those aspects of ourselves that sometimes others need. Okay, so it's 2022, y'all. 2022, okay? And in that time, we have quite a lot of, retrospection, especially when it comes to the New Year's and we're thinking of different aspects of ourselves and our personalities and our lives. We think back and reflect on the year that's gone by, the hurdles we faced, the joys we faced, the joys that we've, appreciated, but also the hurdles that have come our way, and the minor setbacks and comebacks and the things that we've persevered through, the hurdles that we thought we would never, ever overcome, the troubles that we thought we would never overcome, the hardships, the struggles, the pain, but also coming out the other side as being victorious as well. And through those particular, milestones, episodes, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to refer to it as, we know we've had loved ones stand by us through thick and thin. Hopefully we've had people supporting us. Hopefully we've had people being our cheerleader, being someone that's on our squad, someone that has either just supported our, situation. They've let us lean on them. They've let us cry on their shoulder. They've been that person that's picked up the phone call when we've needed someone to just listen to us and to relate to us and just hear us out. And it might be that we've needed a hug. It might be that we've just needed that little 5 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour phone call just to sort of like have someone listening to us, supporting us, encouraging us and giving us warmth and love and encouragement and growth. Or sometimes, we've needed also that little slap in the face to sort of say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you doing this again? We've needed that person to call a spade a spade. We've needed that person to sort of slap us in the face with truth and harsh reality, because sometimes we go about doing stupid things and we expect different results, and we're not. We're not going to get different results. We're doing the same thing over and over again. So we have different relationships with different people that we depend on and we rely on. We all have different aspects of those types of relationships in our lives. Some of us will have a plethora of friends. Some of us will have a group of friends. But it's those close, budding relationships. It's those small, beautiful relationships that have helped us grow, that sometimes we get to a state where, we have to stand back. We really do have to stand back. And we have to allow that person some time. And we have to allow ourselves some time. And we have to respect boundaries. And we have to respect space. And trust me when I say it, sometimes it's not always easy to do, I have friends that I have known for a long number of years, and I have some friendships which I am blessed with where I can literally pick up the phone and speak to that person as if it was yesterday. And 3 years might have gone by, 4 years, 8 months, 2 days, whatever the situation is. That friendship was left in a situation where it's blessed, where I can do that. Because we valued the time together. We valued and appreciated the time together, and we respect the boundaries between us. It's been a healthy relationship. It's been a healthy friendship. It's been a spiritual friendship. There's been one of growth. And in that separation, I've known that person has got their life. I've got mine. Events happen, key events happen to both of us. But at the end of the day, when I need to touch base and I need to have contact with them, I can do that. And there is no misgivings. There's no, hey, where were you? And all of this sort of conversation. No, because we're both grown-ass adults and we understand that we need that time. We need that space. Then there are other predicaments, other situations where we have, closer friends that are within our sort of like zone. And those people need that time and need that space and need to recharge the batteries, Maybe they need to go off exploring. I don't mean as in going off around the world, but it could be. It could be that person just needs time to themselves, They need to sow the wild oats. They need to go and experience particular episodes, particular events. They need to tick off things off their bucket list. They need reflection. They need to stand back from me and them, and us. And they need that time to really look back at certain things in their life and readdress them and refocus and recalibrate, And it's hard when you're very close to someone, you're attached to someone, and you just care about their welfare. But at the same time, we have to honour that passage of time. We have to honour that space. We have to honour that agreement that we are allowing them, to stand back. We're allowing them to have that time, to respect that time, because they've deserved it. They earned it, And also, it's a period of time of growth for us as well, because we can also focus on ourselves. And sometimes when we're in those sort of close friendships and relationships, we often sometimes forget to focus on us. We're so involved with the other person. They're all we think about, they're all we dream about, especially if there's some romantic situation going on between the two of you, maybe there's some form of connection there. And we forget that we've got to focus on us. So it's not always easy to take that step back, but it's a journey that we do have to allow and we have to embrace and we have to respect. So there are times when we really do need to do that. And in 2022, that patience can be very testing. It can be quite difficult because we're on so many different social media platforms, so many different ways of communicating. I don't just mean email. I mean, you have Snapchat, you have TikTok, you have WhatsApp, Viber, all these different ways of interacting with one another, Instagram and so on. Even like WhatsApp statuses and so on. That when you try and take a step back from this person, you're giving them that space, you're honouring that space. And, they may be going through that phase of not communicating with you and vice versa, but you see them still being socially active. That can be quite testing. And it can be quite difficult. And for some people, it can be quite painful as well, because you're trying to work out why that person is still having that social interaction with others and they're not really communicating with you, Before the days of social media, it was quite easy because you could just maybe go to that person's house or go to that person's place of business, have that face-to-face conversation if it needed to be done. So, nowadays, you can very, very quickly get yourself a subpoena. You can very, very quickly get yourself, a stalking order or whatever the person feels that they need to do because you're being too much in their face. And I get it because, there are some relationships we have, there are some connections that we have where it is intense, and sometimes we don't realise the intensity of that friendship or that relationship. And it's due to various things that are obviously going off in our life. A lot of the time it's because we care. We've given part of our heart away, whether it's a friendship or relationship or whatever the situation is. And, it's hard when you see people active on social media and they're not communicating with you. In some cases, these situations happen where, the individual might get back in touch with you, say, after 3 months, after 6 months, or maybe after a year, sometimes shorter. But when that person does come back, it's about honouring that time as well, and sort of like testing the boundaries and sort of like putting your foot in and testing the water and just being cool about it, not going into sort of like a crazy mode of going, oh my God, where have you been? You're honouring that person's time and the fact that they've interacted. Now, it can result in many, many different ways. It can result where you end up repairing that friendship or rebuilding or, honouring the space that has happened between you. Obviously, the two of you have had some growth in different ways. Sometimes it might be that you have different boundaries now that you want to move forward from and that you want to learn from. Or it gets to the point where you're looking at this individual now, both of you, and you're thinking, I don't need them in my life anymore, Sadly, I did not miss them throughout this particular time in period. And they don't bring value to the life that I have now. And I know that sounds really awful and rude, but it's true because, sometimes your needs and desires in a friendship or relationship change, don't they, depending on what's going on. So it could be that you just don't need that particular energy around you anymore. You don't need that particular time. You don't need that particular person. You don't need any of that because you need yourself. That's where your growths come from when you've stepped back. And in some occasions, it's a situation where actually you need them more than ever. So it can go different ways. It can go different ways. In 2021, I really did step back from a lot of close relationships. I had some that came into my life unexpectedly. They were really good, close, bonding friendships and sisterhood, brotherhood. And then I got myself in a situation where I also looked at that particular scenario and realised it wasn't for me anymore. And I had to take a step back, or I had to just cut ties with it. And I think when you go through a situation, especially like divorce, and other key milestones like that in your life, you become really brutal. I'm being really honest, you become really brutal in who you cut out of your life, and you do it very tactfully, without emotion, almost like, you've put the checkmate sort of piece into position, and you're following out the new course of duty. And some of that is because it's that part of human survival. You have to do, the survival of the fittest. You do what's right for you. You've given this person chances. You've given them opportunities to grow with you. And then they're showing you that they don't want to, for whatever reason. And again, like I said, we have to respect that. We have to look at that person's journey and think, it's not part of ours and I'm not part of theirs anymore. And I have to stand back. So we do have to honour these situations. We do have to honour all these particular predicaments that come into our lives. And sometimes, like I said to you, these friendships are never the same again, and some come back stronger than others. Like I said, sometimes you have situations where, you have really, really good friends that you can just pick up the phone, and it doesn't matter how long a time has passed, you reconnect. They're the most beautiful friendships like that. And I'm blessed to have some like that with friends scattered all over the world. That says a lot about them. That says a lot about me and our foundations in our friendship in the first place. So that's the beauty of scenarios like that, when you've given that person space. And some of my friends who I've grown apart from in that respect, they've gone on to have families, they've gone on to have different, travel adventures, different episodes in their lives. Sadly, they might have lost loved ones. They've needed that time to themselves. Or, they've been growing their own little family, their own relationship, and they focus on that, and that's understandable. In some cases, someone's, been working on their business, they've been working on themselves, they've been working on their self-growth, and that, again, is a beautiful aspect of that. And you have to look at that. So some friendships, like I said, you can literally pick up the phone and you can pick up where you left off, and that's the beauty. It's the ones that dwindle, it's the ones that go to the sideline, it's the ones that sadly evaporate, even though you've got strong foundations. They're the ones that you have to look at and think of, well, why has that happened? And, what is the lesson behind that? Why did I have those attachments? If that friendship has sadly gone in a different direction to the way I thought it was going to go, then I have to look at that, and I have to respect that, and I have to move forward from that. And that's for some of us can be quite hard. But remember, it's 2022. It's the new year. It's a new start, new adventures. Leave the past behind you. Learn from it. Definitely learn from it. But walk forward. With your head held high, walk forward. You deserve good people in your life. You deserve people that are honest. You deserve people that are respectful and kind, and people that respect your barriers and respect you both ways. They honour your integrity, they honour your time, they honour your space, and they honour your honesty. And if they don't, then they're not for you. So if, you part ways, if you part directions, then it's not meant to be. So that's something that you also have to think about as you move forward in your life. I'm sending you blessings, I'm sending healing. I'm sending lots of love and lots of good focus and good direction in 2022. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Miriam Khan at Raise Your Vibes.